If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Jared Vanderaa joining the show. He returns to the LFA cage on August 30th in the main event of LFA 74. He takes on Renan Ferreira. How are you, Jared?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. It's great to have you on the show, and we're a little more than 3 weeks away from this fight. How is camp been going? How are you feeling headed to this main event fight in Riverside, California?
I'm feeling good. I mean, the main event part, same thing since my basically I think 7 out of 6 out of 7 fights for main or co-main event. So that I'm kind of over, but I'm ready for it though. Camp's going good. Everything's going so far. No injuries. Knock on wood. But there's no injuries. Feeling great. Feeling very sharp. So I'm really looking forward to this fight.
For the folks watching right now who are seeing you for the first time, and for me selfishly, because I love these stories about how this all comes to be for you guys and gals, how did this all start for you? Like this wacky world of mixed martial arts, what got you into the gym for the first time? What got you to this point?
This is kind of a weird story. So I like growing up, I always wanted to box, kickbox. Grew up watching Vanderaa videos like Bloodsport, kickboxer. So always had a fondness for Muay Thai. You can't do that now in my fight. But when I was kind of was the catalyst of everything, because growing up poor, I never had those opportunities to get into the gym and whatnot. So I was walking to school, but I was late by half an hour or something. I don't remember exactly why I was late, but I was late to school, and the police officer pulled me over out there. And the police officer happened to be the wrestling coach. He was like, "Hey, once football season's over, I want you to join wrestling." And in my middle school, I had a state placer show some things, and it got me intrigued, but I never really pursued it. And him talking to me about it, he kind of told us he was selling it to me because the program at the time was very wishy-washy. He was thinking about getting rid of it and stuff. So he was just like, "Hey, you know what? Blah 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 blah. Let's try to get you into it." And football season wasn't. Me and the coaches was butting heads, and I was I had no more enjoyment coming to football. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to the wrestling room." And yeah, I quickly fell in love with the sport, and I started following MMA and jiu-jitsu, and I mean, my goal was just to try to compete at college level wrestling, and then maybe turn my focus to either the Olympics or fighting. Granted, I never went that far in wrestling due to injuries and stuff like that. So right after I think CIS area, right when CIS league happened, I dislocated my shoulder. Still tried to compete, didn't go as far as I wanted to. Once my shoulder recovered, I was still 17 at the time, and I got $200-300, and I was like, "Well, what am I gonna do with it?" And I was like, "Screw it, I'm gonna try to go to the gym, see how or MMA gym, see how I like it." And I paid for several months up front. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I started working and I started training, and I was grasping a lot of the concepts. I wasn't like a natural, but because I was very coachable, and it's just coming from wrestling, translating this learning process over to the punches and kicks. It was kind of a natural thing for me to be coached that way. And now I'm here 10 years later almost.
Do you ever think back to that day when you were walking to school and you're a half hour late? Think to yourself, what if I was on time that day? Maybe that conversation never happens with the police officer. Maybe you're not here. Do you ever think about that at all?
Not really, because we had only one school police officer, and my school, in a sense, wasn't a big school. I think we had less than 2,000 students. So the run-in with him was like intimate. Like, it was bound to happen one way or another, and I already knew he stopped me once before, asking me if I wanted to play football or to wrestle. So I was more or less wouldn't be surprised if it happened later on. But I'm glad when it did, because I really stopped caring for football around that time. And I left. I think it was the best decision for me to leave football.
Do you remember the first amateur fight that you had? That first fight, emotions are probably all over the place, as many people have told me in the past. Do you remember that night 7 or so years ago?
Oh, actually, no. That was almost. It will be. It's 9 years ago, October 23rd.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My first amateur fight was 6 months after signing up. Yes and no. Because I was competing wrestling consistently. I was doing off-season and stuff like that. So going into that fight, I was a bit nervous. I was a bit anxious, and weirdly enough, one of my other coaches was a paramedic, and he was a hard ass to the gym. He was a straight asshole, but I mean, like in the best way possible. Though, like he killed us in cardio. He would be like, "I'm not some young guy here trying to be a dick." I'm like, "What the hell are you supposed to be?" I was like, "He was a straight asshole in the cardio department." But that was one thing you never had to worry about our team, our cardio. While I was walking out to my first fight, I get hit in the chest. I'm like, I'm like, oh shit, Brian, my coach. And for some reason, seeing him, I was like, I'm good. I had no worries my first fight.
That's amazing.
And yeah, and there's a lot of politics going on with that particular promotion and show. My time and everything fluctuated, and I went out there and had a really great performance. I have a video somewhere in the archives of YouTube. Still trying to find it. I haven't been able to, but it's somewhere out there.
And now look at you. You're headlining LFA events on Access TV, and you've had quite a good run as of late. Finished your last 3 fights with strikes, and I know you train with a fantastic team. You were coming off a couple of losses in a row before this current streak that you're on. What would you say has been clicking for you at this point? What got you turning the corner after the back-to-back losses?
2 or 3 things. One was changing the structure of my camp. With the Odom fight, we thought it was going to be straight strikes. So I felt like my fight with Odom, my striking was superb. But the problem was I didn't focus too much on defense. I didn't focus too much on the ground. Even though I dabbled in them, I would say, there was no emphasis to get time on defense, time on the ground. It was just head movement, striking, keeping things in check, timing. So my striking aspect, I felt, was phenomenal for that fight. And I don't necessarily regret how my coaches and I agreed upon it. But going into that fight after the fight realizing, I should have spent more time on the fence. Should have spent more time on the ground. So my body wouldn't be so exhausted from doing those things in the actual fight. I use that one because it's maybe the biggest catalyst of the start of change. And then I would say with the Andrew fight, that was hard for me to hate. It was a split decision. I was in home country and stuff, but I felt like my performance went very well. I still have people that are just discovering me, just discovering that fight. Still hit me up like, how did you lose that fight? You won that fight, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, so I'm not, I would never say I was upset with that fight. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of stuff I took from that fight where I could have won this way, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't, and, you know, I took a bit back for that. And then the Vernon fight, you know, taking that one on a week's notice, you know, I felt good though. I felt like I was ready for it. But at the end of the day, it just kind of, you know, bit me in the ass. You know, I could make all the excuses in the book, but I felt ready. I thought I was going to win. I definitely had very strong moments in that fight that I thought, you know, was going to give me the win, but it didn't. Now, that was reason number one. And reason number two I don't really talk about, but, you know, in hindsight, I think this also played a huge part of some of the game. Was I was discussing with some of my other coaches that I was like, I like the team, but something to give. I feel like we're just kind of repeating the same routine that I feel like I'm stagnating, and I can't be stagnating in the sport. I'm stagnating. I'm gonna continue this losing streak. I'm stagnating. So I was thinking about jumping ship and stuff, and I kind of had not necessarily blame on someone else, but I was like, you know, I'm not growing with this person. But another person out of our team decided to leave, and when he left, it opened the doors for Joe Stevenson to come in, and he brought along one of my amateur opponents, Jamal, who was actually fighting Contender Series for the 20th. Me and Jamal fought twice in the amateur ranks. We talked about working together. It's just kind of the travel to get to this place it always seemed farther than what it actually was, which kept me from trying to make my way out there. You know, I was about to. And working with Joe was one of my options. I was like, you know, I really like Joe. I might go work with him for a couple of days a week. And then he also brought Dominick Reyes, who we all know is ranked fourth in the UFC. Yep. As a light heavyweight, and I started training with those guys. I had Joe as a coach, who he brought a different aspect to the jiu-jitsu game, our wrestling game, and our stand-up. He's not necessarily brought in crazy new techniques. He just brought in a new idea and just kind of refreshed the pace of the learning curve, and I think that I try to learn a lot from the people I train with, and my coaches. I mean, Jamal and Dominic both have two different styles. They came up in the sport completely differently, and they have experiences that I don't have, and I have experiences they don't have. So we can always change ideas and things that have worked for us in different situations. And I definitely find myself growing because of that.
That's amazing.
And I honestly, I've won 3 times in a row, and I definitely think I have another win coming my way, and hopefully the UFC, will be calling me up afterwards.
Do you know much about Ferreira, your opponent? I mean, he's been on a really strong run as well. You know, he lost his last fight, he got disqualified because he was throwing punches in the back of the head, but he's looked real good as of late. He's a Team Nogueira guy. Did you know a lot about him when the fight was presented to you?
He was a kind of an option, but they were like, I was given 2 or 3 guys, and one guy said no. At this time I think hit with like 5 different fight offers. I was struggling to find a fight, and then out of nowhere, like I had one guy like, oh, he wants to fight. I'm like, all right, okay. No, he wants to fight. Okay, I'll take it. And these were like months out, and I'm like, okay, give me 6 weeks or more, cool. Even a month out, consider that for a fight. I was getting a bunch of, hey, you want to take a week's notice to fight this guy? I'm like, can I get more than a week's notice? Can I just get more than a week's notice? Like, if it was the UFC, I'm taking a 10-minute notice. Because, there's certain guarantees and certain factors that the UFC is going to be willing to accommodate. These other promotions, I don't necessarily know. And so it's very hard to take that risk of a 2-week notice fight when it's like, oh, hey, you want to take this 2-week notice fight? No, because I don't know what guarantee you're going to offer. UFC, even if I go in there and just have a poor performance, they're going to we'll give you one more chance with it.
Yeah.
At least there's that. And that's something I would be more inclined to have that they want to offer me. But I digress. I had 5 6 offers from, there's a Bellator card in LA that I was offered. There's something from CFFC and LFA. Basically, I accepted all of them. And when I started pushing back on the Bellator one due to the fact that LFA and CFFC and I think Combative Americas were all closer. I didn't want to wait until late September. This was early July. I think let's do August, down for August. And they're like, okay, we'll come back to you with some posts. CFFC, they gave me a list of names. I accepted all of them. They didn't accept names. Then I was given, close later down the month, LFA hit me up with, I'm sorry, I can't say my opponent's name.
Renan Ferreira?
Henry? Yeah, I'm so terrible with names.
That's all right.
I feel like a dick. No disrespect to the guy. They just can't say his name. But they offered me my opponent, but they're like, it's unlikely to fight due to visa issues or something like that. I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about him. Then let me look at the other options. They gave me another guy. He said no immediately, and then they offered me Chi Lewis-Parry. And he's a glory kickboxer. I was like, I'm down. I got this. And everyone was like, Derek, why do you want him? I'm like, because I could beat him. So like, okay. And so I was training hard. So I signed the contract, I think, the last week of July. I was like, all right, I got 5 6 weeks to beat this guy. I got this. And I found out last week that he pulled out. They're like, oh, hey, ChiLewis-Parry is not fighting you. I'm like, oh. And I was like, who else? And then I get a message literally after I find out that ChiLewis-Parry wasn't going to fight me about Henry. My current opponent. Look at names. So they offered me my opponent. I was like, yeah, I'm down. I was like, send me the contract. I'll fight him. The nice thing was he's the same height as ChiLewis-Parry, both 6'8". Even though it says 6'10", I don't believe it. So they're both out 6'8". The dude's arm reach is the same as mine, so I was like, even better. And then I signed the contract, and literally about 2 hours later, fight announced. So I was like, that was
Okay.
I was like, because I was waiting for the Perry fight being announced. I was like, fuck, where is this being announced? I'm like I got stuff to do. I got things to sell. I was like, people are bugging the living life out of me to tickets. So I was like, all right, let me try to get it. Once they announce, I'll have tickets. I was like, the moment I announced the fight, I had like 5 people just drop. Like I had a group of people drop like close to like $7. I'm like, damn, I didn't know you guys like me that much. So I mean, just kind of how this whole thing came to be. Wow, crazy. Life on fire.
All right, my God, was there ever a reason given why Perry wasn't going to be able to make this card or take this fight?
He was going to lose. That's like, if you ever look at his record, it's so padded that I think he realized that if he fought me, I wasn't. I'm an MMA fighter. As much as I love my stand-up, I could fight on the ground. And actually, the majority of my wins come from TKOs on the ground. I have two subs. I have a handful of subs and a lot of victories on the ground. I think he realized, like, hey, he can stand and bang. But he could also take me down, which he sucks at. And I don't care if he hears it. I think he's got something there. I come from a wrestling gym, and I have a higher belt in jiu-jitsu.
Well, I like this fight too. This is a very interesting matchup, and this is going to be your third fight for LFA, right?
Yeah.
Is there a part of you, because when Jim Miller fought in Newark last weekend for the UFC, a lot was made about his New Jersey curse, which he obviously broke on Saturday with that quick submission win over Clay Guida. So far, you and the LFA cage have in terms of your record, have not gotten along too well. Is that anything you think about at all as a competitor? Like, I got to get a win for this promotion. Like, I have to get one.
It's even worse than that. I think for some reason, Team Quest is like 2-9 or something on the LFA turf. 2-9, something stupid like that. I'm just like, oh my god. But honestly, though, I mean, regardless of the promotion has nothing to do with my performance. Where it's at has nothing to do, with my performance. I was listening to a podcast with Chael Sonnen talking about what's his name, Darren Till, when he fought in English against Mazarov, and that's Dr. Cabata's up there. He was saying that, the hometown person has this uncanny, they're the ones that actually have maybe the hardest time because they're trying to tease all these people that want tickets, that they want to get to the fight, And with all that being said, I kind of get it. Like, I'm selling a shit ton of tickets. But I'm getting to the point where I'm actually trying to basically tell them, here's my location, to come pick up the tickets. If you want to see me fight, go to these places and pick up the tickets, because I have more time to train. I'm also a father. My daughter's basically sleeping right now, but I have a small person running around I have to take care of. I have to do all that, so I don't have time running around. Oh, you want a ticket? Here, take the ticket. No, I'm not gonna do that. I have more important stuff. I also work. I coach and stuff like that. So I'm not really trying to worry about if people come or not. More or less at the end of the day, I just want to set my kids and just punch somebody in the face.
How old is your daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
She is 2.5.
2.5. Oh, that age.
She's 2.5.
That age. Been there. That's a lot of fun. Are you enjoying fatherhood? And then on top of that, being a professional fighter, trying to continue making your stock rise a little bit. Has that changed you at all in terms of being a fighter? Has it given you extra motivation? How has that changed you from being a father and parlaying that into becoming a professional fighter, into being a professional fighter as well?
I mean, I was a professional fighter before my daughter was around. when I was like 17, I made this as a career choice before my daughter was even a figment in my imagination. So transitioning my life around I'm not trying to say my daughter's obstacle, but a new obstacle was nothing new for me. It's a long-term obstacle. But I mean, from overall, I want to have a decent child. Surprisingly, everyone's like, "Oh, your kid's so amazing for two." I'm like, yeah, for you. I mean, I would say she is that bad, but she's actually relatively pretty good kid. She's not really messy, turning to the standards of me and her mom. We are very messy people. So I mean, my daughter tries to pick up more than her mom and I. She just starts throwing stuff away better than us. I'm like, cool. I made a maid. Yeah, my daughter, and my 2-year-old, she is animated, she's a character. It's like, wow, you're like, my daughter's kind of an asshole, but I mean, if you ever meet her mom and me, you're like, I did. Everyone that knows us, they're like, yeah. I get told by some of the people, they're like, your kids is one of the few girls I will not worry about in school. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, she's supposed to make boys cry. I'm like, why do you say that? She's related to you. I'm like, thanks.
It only gets better, I'm telling you. I mean, mine's 6 now, and one of the things my wife always says, like, 3 will be better, 4 will be better, 5 will be better, 6 will be better. Like, I hear that every year because we go through these peaks and valleys. 2.5 is like, the terrible 2s. 3 is worse than 2, by the way. And 4 is worse than 3 because once they get to 4, then they know, like, they become habitual line crossers more than they were before. Plus they have the vocabulary to be able to run their mouth back to you, and they're going to test you like never before, and it continues to get better. So you have a lot to look forward to, my man.
Oh, I know. My daughter already talks back to me. She legitimately will argue with me. I'm like, come here. She's like, no. I'm like, and then I'm just like, all right, you do this. She's like, I won't. I'm just like, kid, come on. No. I'm like, because when I was younger, I actually helped raise my brother. My mom was working 40, 50, 60 hours, she had to, and then their dad was a trucker. And at this time, I would wake up with my brothers. I'd put my brothers down and stuff like that. And my brother was too. And I remember me and him chill. We're like, yeah. But when that kid turned 30, I was just like, Mom, I'm gonna strangle him. I'm like, I don't need it. I was like, I already have 4 siblings. I was like, one could go.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, so my younger brother, when he was 2, he was cool. When he was 3, he became a pain in the ass. And then so I mean, I'm expecting it to be terrible. I'm dreading it. I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, at least you're ready for it in some capacity anyways. You've seen it all before. You kind of know what to expect a little bit. I had no idea, so this is all new to me.
No.
I'm like, really, dude? Really? In terms of the fight in a little over 3 weeks from right now, how do you see this thing playing out in the main event of LFA 74?
Honestly, I think first round or the second round, I have victory from TKO, most likely. I could easily see this going into a KO, just from the hold I see with my opponent. And I mean, the biggest question here for me would be his ground. Just because, he comes from Brazil, Miguel, he's not training with lackluster jiu-jitsu guys. He's training with some legit monsters in the BJJ game. But, I mean, and it's Brazil. But, I mean, I also live in Southern California that we have our own set of monsters just as scary or maybe even scarier than the ones that they have in Brazil. And I've trained with a lot of those guys, so I mean, it's one of those things where do I risk going on the ground and, we try to figure out who has the better jiu-jitsu game? Because I know I'm pretty solid, especially MMA jiu-jitsu. Do I know how good my opponent is? Not really. I know I've been doing it longer than him. So, I mean, there's that, and I wrestle technically longer than he has too. So, I mean, my grappling should be superior than his. I think my striking is vastly more crisp than his, so I definitely continue winning. I do respect the power. I mean, it's a heavyweight fight. You can't be like, oh, I'm doing a heavyweight fight and not worry about nothing. No, motherfucker, you gotta watch out for that. One shot knockout. I haven't been knocked out, and I don't say that like, oh, I'll never be knocked out. No, I'm like, there's always a possibility to get knocked out. It's just some people are harder to knock out. I mean, I've seen Francis punch people. This is it. Not saying he can't knock me out. I haven't been knocked out. But it's not the guy I want to try to test that theory with. But, yo, Francis, come punch me a few times. No. It's just, so, and like with him, it's like he tries to knock people out. And, I mean, again, I haven't been knocked out. But at the same time, it's like, do I really want to see how far my chin can go? No, I don't want to figure out how durable I am. Like, I don't want to, like, well, we all know Robbie Lawler is a durable motherfucker, but I don't want to be known for the guys like, yeah, he can take a beating very well. It's like, this is how you're going to lose. You're going to beat him up for the first 2.5 rounds, then by round 3, you're going to be so exhausted that he's going to just hit you once and you're done. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to feel how durable I am. It's like, it shows that I'm pretty durable, though. I've gone basically to the 5th round twice. I've gone to the 3rd round defeat twice also. So, I mean, I can take a hit. There's video of me taking it. There's a video of me getting kneed in the head, popping up and punching him. I was like, I popped up like a daisy and just doing it. I was an elbow, and I was like, screw you.
Well, this is gonna be a fun fight in a few weeks, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no. I was like, I might do something. People are like, no, you couldn't, you can't, you did.
What is Jared Vanderaa going to come up with on August 30th? You'll find out on Access TV in the main event of LFA 74 against Renan Ferreira. I could do this for another hour, Jared, but we are running out of time, unfortunately. But before we let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on social media, follow along on this journey with you. Any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest, the floor is yours.
All right. So social media, I have Instagram and Facebook under Jared Vanderaa MMA. I think Instagram, Jared Vanderaa. Jared Vanderaa MMA is my Facebook. My Twitter is one of those. You use Twitter? I'm sorry, I'm not a big tweeter. I'm never on the Twitter, but I have it every now and then. I'll periodically look at it. Those are the 3 social media sites. Shout outs, Lauren's girlfriend, my child, and he gets enough attention. And I would manager my teammates. I have a plethora of them, so I'd like to thank all of them for helping me. My coaching staff, and if you're in the SoCal area, come to my fight in Riverside. We'd love to see you. And, yeah.
Thank you,
And
Jared.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All the best to you on August 30th. Great stuff.
Thank you.